Hey there everyone, it's Red Knight here and welcome back to another cool video. Now I'm just off to the hairdressers. I'm going to get my beard adjusted just so I don't look too similar to Greg. So I'm just leaving the farm as you can see behind me and I'm heading on down the road and I'm going to get my hair cut. So let's make sure I'm recording this journey and we will see how I look after I finish.
Okay, here I am. I'm now sitting down inside the barber's and he's preparing me so I can get my hair cut. Now, I do like this barber's. I've been coming here for quite a long time now, in total for about 16 years. And when I first came here, I found that even though my Japanese was not of a high standard, I could still communicate very, very well. I think because of the kindness of the staff at the time, and some of the staff are still regular members there. I think because they tried very hard to communicate with me, and they actually gave me good value for money, I kind of stuck with them. And 16 years going to the same barbers is pretty good if I do say so. Now, how far is this barber's located from my house, and why did I pick this one and not the others? Well, one, okay, as I told you, it's all about the service and the communication. But two, it was very, very convenient. Now, my family and I often enjoy going out for sushi, and the actual sushi location that's near here is really convenient. It's a sushi restaurant that we like very, very much, and it's only a bus ride away from my home. Now, often I would go to sushi with my family. After I would finish, I would come here, get my hair cut, then again go home afterwards. So the convenience of actually traveling here at the same time was very, very useful for me. Now, this is part of a chain, this actual barbers itself. There are two barbers located within about 20 minutes of each other, and occasionally the staff do change around. Now, the gentleman that's cutting my hair has cut my hair many, many times in the past, so he kind of knows what I would like, and communication is not a worry between the two of us. Now, when I actually made this recording, I did ask him if it was okay, and I did tell him that I was going to record, and he said yes, it's not a problem. Now, I must admit the second barber I don't think was ultimately happy about this, but if they wanted me to stop, I did double check again more than once just to make sure, and he said it was fine. Now, regular service at this barber's is not from the one person. Usually you will have two people servicing you. You'll have the one person who cuts your hair, and then you'll have the second person who actually does your beard as well. Now, when I first went here, I think I was the first foreigner that they'd actually ever seen. And when I walked in the door, I kind of like the whole barbers went silent on me, and everybody stopped what they were doing. They looked up and they was probably thinking, okay, I think he's lost and I don't know what he wants. But I sat down, and basically you can see some like numbers in the back there up against the wall, and those blue chairs are the waiting chairs. Now, you would go in, you'd sit down, and then as one person gets up, they go and sit down on the actual black chairs where I'm located at the moment, and then they cut your hair, they turn you around, and depending on the service that you ask for, depends on if you're there a short time or a long time. I think now the shortest time I've ever actually been in this barber's is probably 20 minutes, and the longest I've ever been there is about 40 to 50 minutes. Now, it will depend on the person who's cutting and what they're doing and what I ask for. But in most cases, I usually just ask for a mijika, which is a small haircut. So to reduce the top, to shorten the beard and blend it in so it looks much, much better. Now, it still has to be very business-like, so I can't really go for any coloring or styles. Now, this is one of your traditional style barbers. They don't really go in for the fancy hairstyles. However, they can give you that option if you wanted to. The staff are actually very well trained, and they do use a lot of different techniques depending on your wish. Now, he's actually using clippers over comb at the moment, and some of them do use scissors. It's down to the individual, and you just let them know what you prefer, and they usually ask you as well. Now, as I said, my Japanese is not perfect, but I have been able to communicate with them very, very effectively over the years, and I've never actually had a problem. In fact, no, I tell a lie, I've only ever had one problem, and that's when I've been situated to the seat that's just next to this one. Somebody was actually cutting a person's hair where I'm sitting at the moment, and one of the ladies was actually shaving me with like one of the cutthroat blades that they used in the past. Then the barber actually knocked her elbow as she was shaving my neck in the upward motion, and it was like, oh my goodness me, she almost cut my throat kind of aspect. And she was all panicky and nervous and had to go and sit down afterwards, and they asked me if I was okay, and I said yeah, not a problem. Even I could have died, and I think she was probably more shocked. She apologized so many times, but it wasn't necessary. I said it was actually quite fine. Now, as I'm actually watching the video, or should I say as you're watching the video, do look at what he's doing, and do pay attention to his different styles. Maybe it's a little different than what you are used to in your own country. I know when it actually came to doing my beard, okay, the technique that the lady used was really, really interesting, and I've never actually experienced that one before, and for me it was rather unusual. Now usually when he does my hair, he always starts at the back and then he comes around the sides, so he usually trims from like a certain point downwards, and he kind of blends it in so it goes very nicely into my face. And then afterwards he usually builds up my skull towards the top, taking away the side parts, blending it in, layering it, and then gradually working his way up to the top part of my head and thinning it out. Now the scissors that he's using at the moment are a pair of scissors that don't have all of the teeth, so he has the option to actually only cut away certain hair, which in many ways is actually an interesting feeling as it goes around, because he's not cutting the full set of hair, he's only like trimming away the hair that's below the surface to such an extent, and it's quite a nice feeling. Now the actual cape that I'm wearing at the moment stops all the hairs from getting onto my clothing, which I do like, and I appreciate this. It actually goes down over my knees and over my jeans, in fact all the way, almost all the way down to my ankles. Now he put a little like a band of cloth around my neck as well. This is again to create a kind of sealing effect and to stop any of the hairs from going down my collar as well. Doesn't always work, but it does the job, and it often feels a little bit tight as well. At the very beginning he wet my hair, and then he used a towel to soak my hair as well. Now I think this is probably more to keep the actual hair clumped together, so when he cuts it, it sticks to each other and it doesn't go all over the place. So you can actually see like my hair at the moment collecting there on my shoulders. Now later when he actually pushes into a pile, it all stays in that one location, and it's actually quite interesting. Now one thing I actually do enjoy doing is watching them as they do my hair, and I certainly learn a lot. I like the way that they actually like pull your hair back and then cut to their fingers, pull it back again, and then they get this wonderful kind of balance as he's actually doing the hair, and it does feel really, really comfortable. It's interesting way he kind of like starts at the top, comes down to the side, and then again blends it in so it looks much more comfortable. Now usually they take a lot more off the sides for me, and they usually leave a lot more on the top. Now I do like it shorter, but I still need a good set of hair up the top. I don't really want to go bald quite yet in my life. I'm only 43. Now I've often had a high forehead, as you can see here, and sometimes the hair actually goes down a little bit over, but I don't like it too far down. Now some of the things they will do for me, if I ask them to. Now if I wanted, they could actually colour my hair. Now they've asked me if I wanted to do this in the past, especially when I started going grey, but I've always declined. I've always preferred having the more natural look, and I don't mind actually going grey. I know when I first came here, okay, the person who actually cut my hair was kind of surprised at the texture of my hair, because it's very, very soft, whereas Japanese hair is a little bit harder and more coarse in some ways. So I think the barber at the time was like, wow, this is interesting, and he actually kept rubbing his fingers through it. Now it's a little bit like uncomfortable when I first started, but I think because I was probably the first foreigner that they'd actually ever seen in their barbers at that time, I think that basically he was like not used to seeing foreign hair, and when they actually did talk to me about the kind of style and cut that I wanted, I think they learnt a lot from me as well, because my hair is very, very difficult in some aspects. Okay, like I have a quiff at the front there that is not always easy to control. Sometimes they try to give me a parting, but then again, I don't really want a parting in my hair. I'm kind of just happy for it to just go the way it goes, and it's more natural for me. Okay, the scissors he's using at the moment are those ones that are missing the teeth, and as you can see, as he's cutting away there, he's only really thinning out the hair. So he's removing the excess hair from below the surface and only cutting part of it. This creates the actual effect of it not being so heavy, and it feels much lighter. Already I'm starting to feel comfortable. Now just brush away the actual excess hair there. Mostly my hair is done, and now he's going to show me what it looks like, and that's what that mirror's for. So you're going to check out the back now, and I'm kind of happy with that. I like the way that it feels, I like the way it looks short, and it is comfortable. Right, now the next person to come along is my beard cutter. So he's asking me what I want. He's asking me if I wanted a shampoo, and I usually decline the shampoo. Now we're going to get the second person to come over in a second, and this is where I'm going to experience something very unusual. Now, depending on the person who actually shaves will depend on the style. Quite often they just leave me sitting up like this, and they only ever actually lower me down for the last part. But in this case, from the very beginning, she actually lowers me down completely. And it was really strange. Now here they're asking me what kind of size I would like. Do I want it 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters? And he's confirming my requirements and then telling her as well. Now you'll notice she's actually wearing a mask. Now why is that? Well, it could be because of hay fever, it could be because she's got a cold, it will depend. Now this is the part that felt really uncomfortable for me. Now I've never actually had this part. Now okay, I've lain down before like this, but she actually placed a towel completely over my eyes, so I could not see anything at all. Now everything that she actually did now was by touch, and for me actually to be in this situation was like a little bit strange in itself. Now you can see them in the mirror there as they're talking, and she's preparing herself and getting everything ready. Now she's just double checking, she's confirmed, and now she's coming back to sort me out, and she's just confirmed the actual blade. Now she's going to shave me, okay, with a beard trimmer. In fact, it's the same trimmer but with a different blade. Now this was the interesting part. So she's kept the towel in place, and she's kind of using the trimmer to actually come up to the actual part of the towel itself. So the towel was the guide, and everything else that kind of below the towel she reduced in size. Now like I said, it was really strange, and I've never actually experienced this. Now I did ask later why she did this, and she actually told me it's to stop the actual hairs from bouncing into my eyes, and I guess this is the way that she's been trained. But I did like it in some aspects, but I didn't in other ways. Now trying to breathe through your nose and mouth when you got a towel over it, and then she puts her hand there as well. It's like, oh my god, she's suffocating me, she's trying to kill me. But it was kind of weird as well. Now there goes my hair, it's all bouncing off, it's being reduced in size, and it's a strange feeling. Now she's being very gentle, she's gradually adjusting the towel as she does my beard, and she is trying to create the same kind of size from coming in from different directions. Now like I said, this is very unusual. Usually when I've actually had this part done, I'm usually sitting up, and one of the other beard trimmers is literally just shaving me as I'm sitting upwards, and then it's much easier for them. Now maybe because she's a lot shorter, she prefers that I'm actually laying down. I don't know. Like I said, this was a new experience for me, and in some ways very weird. Now why do they change staff? Well, some of the staff have one main function, and that is to cut hair. Another person's function is to actually shave you. Another person's function is to actually wash your hair or to color it. And they all do different roles within the actual barbers itself. Now maybe this makes it much easier. It allows them to move around and to not get stuck in one place at the same time. I'm not really sure. Over the years I've never really found out. I've tried to find out, or I've tried to ask, but they've not really told me. They just said it's the way that we've always done things. Now as you can see already, okay, my beard is starting to disappear. It's getting a lot shorter and it's starting to look like my new cut. So the Greg look is now vanishing and the new Red Knight, the younger looking me, will soon appear. Now you'll see the guy behind you, he's actually at the location where they usually shampoo hair. Now in all the 16 years that I've actually been coming here, I've never ever had a shampoo, even though they've asked me. It's not something that I feel comfortable with getting here, especially considering they charge you for it as well. I'm kind of happy just actually getting a shave and actually getting my hair cut. That's my preference. Now watch as well how he actually shampoos the guy in front. Okay, look at the way he just leans over the sink there as well. So head down into the sink and then he gets his wash. You'll see the other gentleman at the back there just waiting his turn, reading one of the free newspapers. It's actually a really good layout in this Barber's. Very streamlined. The prices are up there on the corner as well, and it cost me about 1,600 yen for this haircut. Of all of the barbers that I've actually tried, this is the one that I do prefer coming back to every time. Now on occasion I do go to another barber's, and sometimes I even cut my own hair myself, but I always end up coming back here, especially if I'm not really satisfied with what I've had done elsewhere. Yeah, really weird feeling having that towel over your face. Now you may even notice that the towel is moving sometimes because I'm trying to breathe through it, and when it's actually covering your nose and your mouth like that, it's not so comfortable, as I said. I'll say one thing, you ladies out there are really lucky. You don't have to go through this. Now, why don't I just shave it all off? I suppose I could do, but I actually don't like shaving. I don't like actually having a face that is hairless. I suppose it's one reason because of my army days in the past when I had to shave all the time. And I've never actually really enjoyed shaving, and I do prefer actually having a beard. I think when I actually got the choice when my company said it was okay to grow a beard, I thought, great, that's it. I'm going to stop shaving now, grow that beard. And from then onwards, I've had a beard. Now, on occasion, I do trim it off completely. And then that does surprise the staff, especially if they have never seen me without a beard. Like, I walk into the building at work sometimes, and it's like, who are you? And then when they realize it's me, it's like, oh my goodness me, you're so different. Even some of the students, when they do see me without a beard, they're like really surprised sometimes because they're just not used to it. I do enjoy having a beard over winter time because it does keep the face very warm. Plus as well, I'm often Santa Claus for any of the children's events that I do, and having that real beard is much more beneficial. Right, get rid of that excess hair, and there's me trying to blow the towel off my face again because it's covered my mouth and nose too much. Oh, I can breathe! Yes, okay. Now just quickly confirm what I want. And she say, can I cut your throat? And I'm saying, no. So let's just adjust the screen so it comes back up. Yay! Now at the moment it's very scraggly. She's just checking to see how I would like it done. So basically I want it nice and clean and tidy, so I'm looking to actually have a more fresh cut so it's more comfortable for me when I look at it. I don't like the scraggly feel. Now you'll see just below my chin there's kind of like a really big open section there. Now I want that kind of cut back and reduced and adjusted as well. Now what she's doing here is just creating a nice little line, and she's making sure that all of the hairs are equal. She actually did a really good job, and I was very satisfied. But I think maybe because of the actual position that she's put me in, I think maybe it made it more challenging for her as well. Now I don't know how often she actually gets to cut a beard. I think maybe it's very infrequently. I know I don't often see many Japanese men in this country with beards. It's very few and far between. So usually when I come to the barbers, I'm usually the only guy there that actually has a beard. I know my hair texture is very different, and I know my beard does feel a little strange as well. Now for me, the most important part of getting my beard trimmed is just by my mouth. I do hate eating and then feeling the taste of hair or getting caught up. So that's one thing I often change myself when I get the chance. Slowly working around. Okay, just wipe that excess hair away for the moment. Now what is she going to do, I wonder? Is she going to get the actual shaving cream out? We will have to wait and see. So at the moment all she's done is taken away the excess amount of hair. So she's just thinned it out, she's adjusted the size. Now we actually get the part where she uses the blade to cut me. So cream me up a little bit. Okay, that's it. Put on the shaving foam, and that feels really weird having this brush going over your face. So she's doing my cheeks, she'll do my forehead later as well. There, she's asking me about my forehead, and I'm saying yes please. Now I can't actually see because of the way she's done this. I got hair in my eyes, so I had to quickly wipe that away. Now I'm telling her, yeah, it's no problems, do my forehead as well. I don't mind that aspect. Now once they actually put the cream on you here, i.e. the shaving foam, what they then do is get a hot towel. Now this actually allows you to open up the pores, and the towel is actually rather hot. I think the first time they did it to me, it was like really hot, but I actually didn't mind that, and I kind of like the feeling of this really hot towel on your face. It feels so comfortable. Now usually it's just the one towel, but she's like putting more than one on. So oh my goodness me, what is she doing? Like, oh my god, I've got a yellow head. No, my head has become corn, everybody. Now there she is. She's actually putting the stuff on my forehead now. So she's going to shave my forehead in a moment. And this part, actually a weird feeling to have someone shaving your forehead. When it first happened to me, it was like, what are you doing? Like, because I've never had this done before. Like, even when they did my eyelids once before, it's like, what now? This is kind of a little bit strange. The same when they did my ears, like they shaved around my ears and on the inside as well. Like, it's a whole new experience. So if you ever get the chance, everybody, and you come here to Japan, do get your hair cut at a barber's, because some of the barbers do give you an interesting experience. Some of the places, as an example, my son goes to a local barber's near my house. Now that one's really expensive. It's like 5,000 yen to get your hair cut, whereas I would only pay like 1,600. Now he goes to a hairdresser's, not a barber's, so he likes the actual style effect. Personally, I think he should come here. He'll get a much better deal, and I think maybe they could be just as stylish. In fact, I do know they can be more stylish as well. Now look at that blade she's got here. It's really sharp, so I am always hoping she's very careful with it. Now she actually does a pretty good job. So my forehead's done. Now let's just wipe my top down. That's it, right. So she's checking to see if my pores are open and to make sure the cream's soaked in. So it feels good and I feel refreshed. So that's it. Add a little bit more of that shaving foam on there, and now we know where she's going to go. Now earlier she trimmed me just to make sure that the actual line was in the right place. Now this is the part I always worry about, where she uses that blade on my throat, and I'm in such a vulnerable position, and look at it. So be very careful. Now I do like the way this actually feels. Okay, it's really strange having this blade kind of like sliding up and down your throat, or just like trimming away gradually. Now, sometimes they do cut me and I do get nicked, but it's very, very rare, and it will depend on the actual person. I think of the actual shave, this is probably my favorite part. Now you can see here that she's actually taking away that excessive hair that I had, and she's creating that line that I want just under the chin. So that kind of hollow effect that was there is now gone. And it feels much more comfortable. In fact, it kind of feels a little drafty in some ways as well. Now I would love to get my hands on one of these blades, just so I could actually give myself a good shave here at home. I've always used a double-edged blade at home, and I'm actually not keen on the normal shavers that you can buy, i.e. the electric ones. I prefer this kind of effect. I like the blade feel, and I think it gives a much better cut sometimes. There she is now doing my cheek, getting the line so it's all balanced. Occasionally she will wipe the actual cream and then just pat down the hair as well. Doing my nose, doing my mouth, doing my cheek, doing my lips. Okay, it's good. I always feel like holding my breath during this moment. I'm so looking forward to seeing what the final thing is going to look like. See, at this moment I've not been able to watch, and I've not seen what I've looked like. Well, I have actually when I set up earlier to readjust the camera on the computer, but I've not seen the final effect, and I won't see that until she actually allows me to sit up. When you're actually sitting there watching, you're looking at yourself in the mirror as they're doing this, you can see how it's developing. But in this position, I do wish they actually had mirrors on the ceiling. Now I think that would be a good idea actually, to actually have mirrors on the ceiling while they're doing this. I think would be much better. Okay, another towel just to actually open up the pores again, just to clear away the actual suds off my face so it looks much more comfortable. Now okay, I'm happy with that. It looks good, it feels more comfortable, and it's got this nice little like V effect there as well. Now it's not perfect, okay, I suppose because of the way I'm laying. Now this part I don't like. So my actual pores are open, and she's got some like like Old Spice kind of like a lotion that she then places on my face. Now I'm really glad that I actually used the towel afterwards to actually wipe it down. And here I am, and don't I look handsome? Look at that handsome divil there. Am I not a good looking dude? Now almost finished. Now there's just a few more points that they need to do, but I'm getting really close to the actual final look now. Just have to get those hairs out of my mouth. Now what she's going to do is the back of my ears, the back of my neck, and she's going to tidy me up. So this is the final part of the actual getting your hair cut. So the cleaning up, the adjusting, making sure everything's equal. Now on occasion this person will also actually start readjusting my hair as well. So the person who actually does the cutting of my beard often readjusts my actual hair as well, just so it then blends in with my beard, especially if it's a little bit too long. Now you also get the chance during this stage, I find, to say, okay, I'm not quite happy about this, please adjust this one, and I will get her to do one little part later for me because I feel it's a little bit too long on the one side compared to the other side. Yep, I do like that one. It looks good. Yeah, what a handsome devil. Oh yes. And still got hairs in my mouth. I really do hate that part. So I've always hated like the hairs going in my eyes when I can't see, or the taste of hairs in my mouth. Blech. Now, a little bit more left to do. The final cut, the final blow dry as well. So, quickly just clean up my hair, get rid of all those excess hairs. I shut my eyes, just so I don't get any more in my eyes while she's doing it. This feels really, really comfortable, almost like a massage. And I think she actually enjoyed being videotaped as well. Now, because I think she's much shorter than the average person who's usually there, that's probably one reason why she laid me down. Normally the person who does my beard is a little bit taller. The final touches, the smoothing down, the adjustment, it looks good. Now, will she do my ears, I wonder? Will there be anything else? Now, I can't wait for that part. It actually really tickles when they do the inside of your ears. It's very, very essential in some ways. In fact, that's one reason why I probably like getting my hair cut at this place. The actual feeling as they do your hair sometimes, or when they do your forehead, or they do your eyes, or your throat and the back of your head, it looks good. Right, here she goes, everybody. She's doing my ears now. Oh, wow, this really, really tickles, and I like that. So, in my earlobes, the top of my ears, on the inside, it is really, really like strange as a feeling. So look at my facial expression as she's doing this. Like I said, it tickles. And I'm enjoying the conversation here. Yep. Now here's the part where I think it's a little bit too long compared to the other side. So I say please trim this part just to make it balance. Snip, 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 snip. Okay, take away that excess hair that I'm not quite satisfied with. And then take that last part as well. So snip, 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 snip. And it's gone. Now I won't need another haircut for at least another 2 or 3 months. So I'm really, really satisfied with this place. Now all I need to do once I've actually finished this is to pay for my bill and then turn off my computer, and then that's it, I'm finished. Now I'm really satisfied, I like what they've done, and I do thank them for actually allowing me to videotape this. So final brush, get rid of all of those hairs, okay, off my chest and trousers, and that's it, we turn off the computer, and I look good. Yes, I know.
Well, here I am. I'm now leaving the hairdressers. I'm making my way back home again. And as you can see, I've had my hair cut. And I'm very, very satisfied. So Greg, eat your heart out. I look 20 years younger. Much younger than you. Goodbye all!